I only want to take 10 or 12 minutes of your time. I want to talk to you about why I think this race is so critically important for the country. In politics, candidates are always telling us this is the most important election in our lifetime. And if your name happens to be on the ballot, it probably is the most important election of your lifetime. But I hope I can convince you over the next 12 minutes that it's actually true. Every election in America matters. But it's not just this election. I think this country has reached a moment of extraordinary importance. I know you're used to hearing that from people, but I want to give you a perspective today that perhaps you haven't thought about, or maybe you have. And in particular, I want to give you a perspective about why a race for governor in Virginia has such dramatic implications for the future of our country. Now, one of the unique ironies and blessings at the same time that I've had in politics is that so many of the events that I speak at are at hotels like this that have banquet facilities. I get to often walk into the kitchen and see the people that are serving us our lunches, our dinners, if it's a breakfast, our breakfast. Once in a while, it'll be a room that has one of those little portable bars in the back corner where someone is serving drinks like my dad did for so many years. And the reason why that's been a blessing for me is because it reminds me in very real ways of why I ever got involved in politics to begin with. Some of you may be familiar with my personal story because I've told it so many times, but the reason why I tell my story is not as a testament to me or even to my family, but as a testament to America and a reminder of what's at stake. My parents came to this country in 1956. They had both grown up poor and disadvantaged. If they had stayed in their home country, the chances are that no matter how hard they worked or how many things they sacrificed, they would only be able to go so far. You know, sometimes we look at these races and we say, oh, this is a fight to see whether the next governor will be a Republican or a Democrat. At the national level, we look, oh, this is a fight to see who's going to control Congress after the next election. While that's technically true, what's at stake is a lot more than that. Because I invite you to do what I've had a chance to do over the last year. Go out, talk to the people that work here. Talk to the people that work for you. And ask them. And here's what you're going to hear. For the first time in our lifetime, we have a growing number of people in this country who believe that fundamental promise that if you work hard and you sacrifice, you can get ahead. For the first time in our lifetime, we have a growing number of people in this country who believe that that's no longer true. Who are starting to doubt if that equation still works. Excuse me. They're starting to doubt whether that equation still works. And that means that the American dream itself is what's at stake. You know, we've had difficult economic times before. We've had downturns in the economy before. But this one's different. Because this one isn't just about the unemployment rate being too high or a cyclical downturn because of a banking correction. This one is about a growing number of Americans who have lost hope, who are increasingly believing that they are destined now to have a life not as good as the one their parents had. You see it in the eyes of these college kids who have done everything that's been asked of them. Go to school, get good grades, and graduate, and you can do something you love for a living. For many of them, that's not true. You hear it in the voices of people who have given everything up to turn their dream into a small business. And now they are working hard and they're sacrificing, but not only are they not getting ahead, they're barely keeping up. You hear it in the voices of people who have given up. You hear it in the voices of people who work in hotels like this, who served us our lunch today, who clean the rooms above us, who are doing it because either they're going to school at night or because they want their kids to be able to do anything they want in their lives. And they're starting to doubt whether that's possible. In order for us to make sure that it is true again, we have to remember why it was true to begin with. It begins with something that Ken Cuccinelli clearly understands and has been a vibrant spokesperson for it. And that's the founding principles of our country. The founding principles of our country are powerful because they're not political principles, they're spiritual principles. And here's what they are. That every single human being has the God-given right to go as far as their talent and their work will take them. We take that for granted. That principle, we Americans, those of us born and raised here our whole life, because we've never done anything else, sometimes we take that for granted. Understand that throughout the history of the world, and in much of the world today, that's not what their governments believe. They believe that your rights come from government. That your rights are whatever the law says they are. We say that our rights come from our Creator. They are natural to us. And that government's job is to protect those rights, not to grant them. To recognize them, not to give them to us. From that principle emerged the system of economics called free enterprise. And free enterprise has eradicated more poverty than all the government programs in the world combined. Why has free enterprise worked? Well, it's because it gives people the opportunity to turn their dreams into reality. Free enterprise is about quitting your job and starting a business out of the spare bedroom of your home. Free enterprise is about taking every penny out of your bank account and risking it because you have an idea that you think no one else has, and you can make it happen. And it's not just the people starting the business that benefit from it, it's the people that work for them. Why did my dad have a job at a hotel? Why did my mom have a job at a hotel? Because someone who had access to money risked it to open that hotel. Because other people had enough money left over in their pocket after they paid their taxes and their bills to take a 3 or 5 day vacation to Miami Beach or to Las Vegas. This helps everyone. Free enterprise works. It always has and it will again. And the problem that we fundamentally face today is that the free enterprise system has been demonized. And we have government leaders who are and people who want to be government leaders, like the Democrat running for governor here, who want to stand in the way of the free enterprise system. So look at the things they stand for. If you want to know what the proper role of government in our economy is, it's pretty simple. Does it make it easier or harder for people to start a business or grow an existing one? Does it make it easier or harder for people to invent new things and innovate new products and services? And on issue after issue, the Democrats and the left stand for policies that make it harder for people to start a business or grow an existing one, that make it harder for people to innovate. And if we lose this election, this individual running for governor will make Virginia a harder place to start a business or grow an existing one, and he will make it a harder place to innovate. And who does that hurt? It doesn't hurt the people who have made it. If you're a billionaire or a multi-millionaire, if you're a major corporation, you may not like big government, but you can afford to deal with it. You can. You can hire the best lawyers in America to figure it all out for you. And if you really don't like it, you can hire the best lobbyists at the state capitol or in Washington, D.C. to carve out a loophole for you. Who are the people that cannot deal with big government? It's the people who are trying to make it. It's the people trying to start a business out of the spare bedroom of their home. They can't afford to hire a law firm to navigate a complicated regulatory code. Who gets hurt when someone decides to leave their money in a bank or invest it overseas because it's gotten too expensive to do it in Virginia or too expensive to do it in the United States? It's the people who are going to work there. It's the reason why Obamacare is so bad. It's the reason why Ken Cuccinelli's leadership on Obamacare is so important and he should be rewarded for it. Obamacare is not just a theoretical debate anymore. It is hurting real people. There are people out there today looking for a job that will not find one. Because the small business that was going to create that job won't. Because Obamacare is keeping them from doing it. There are people today working 40 hours a week who will now get to work 28 hours a week because of Obamacare. There are people that have health care coverage right now that are going to lose it because of Obamacare. There are small business and entrepreneurs who want to grow, who want to expand, and won't because of Obamacare. And the ultimate price is paid by the people who are trying to make it. Now, I would say to you, a lot of these issues need to be debated at the national level. But they're being debated every day at the state level. With all the attention that the press pays to the national debate, we forget that so many of the innovations in our country, from education to tax policy, is happening at the state level. And that's what you have a chance to do here in Virginia, starting with this election. To begin this new renaissance of reclaiming the American dream. To send a clear message that we are going to elect people that understand that prosperity and the American dream is not a product of government. It wasn't created by governors and presidents. It was created by people, a free economy, turning their dreams into reality and reality into jobs and prosperity for others and opportunity for others. Without the American dream, there can't be an America. Without the American dream, we're just another rich, powerful country, but no longer a special one. What's made us special is that. What's made us special is that vibrant middle class made up of people that started off somewhere else. Not just another country, but another demographic group. People that were born to less than advantageous circumstances. To parents who could barely make a living. And overcame those things to build a better life for themselves and give their children a better life yet. And what's so powerful about that idea is that it's not just an economic one. That idea is our national identity as a people. It's who we are as a country. We're not a common race. We're not a common ethnicity. We're not a common religious denomination. This American dream, this idea that every single person has a God-given right to go as far as their work and their talent will take them, this idea is what holds us together as a country. And is what potentially we're on the verge of losing. If an entire generation of Americans grows up believing that that's no longer true. People ask me all the time, what can Republicans do? How can we turn around the perception that some people may have of us on different issues? And I'd say we have to remind people that we are the party that celebrates people who succeed. We hold them up as an example of what you too can do if you work hard and sacrifice. But we celebrate the people who succeed, but the people who really benefit from what we stand for are the people who are trying to make it. Are the people who are trying to climb up the economic ladder. Are the people who are trying to open up that small business. Are the people who are working in this hotel so their kids could one day sit at one of these tables or stand behind a podium like this. They are the ones that benefit from free enterprise. They are the ones that benefit from a free economy. They are the ones that benefit from those policies. And we must once again reclaim that because it is true. It is who we are. And you have a candidate here that is running for governor who embodies it in his policies and in his record. This is a race to be excited about. This is a race that allows us to make a statement to the country that Americans are not prepared to give up on the American dream. That Americans are not prepared to walk away from the one thing that makes us exceptional. That this generation of Americans is willing to do what every generation before us did. Whatever it takes to ensure that the American dream survives and that our children inherit what Americans have always inherited from their parents. The single greatest country in the history of the world. That is what we have a chance to do here in Virginia. The other side is pouring money in from all over the country. Why do you think that is? Because they realize the same thing as well. For them, it's about convincing America that government is the solution to all of our problems. You pick a problem, they've got a government program to solve it. You pick an issue, they've got a tax that they claim will make it better. On issue after issue, that's their prescription. It has failed miserably in Washington. It is failing miserably in the states that are doing it. And now they want Virginia to be one of those places too. You can't let that happen. That cannot happen. Because what's at stake here is not just who controls the governor's mansion. This is a precursor for what's going to happen in 2014 and after that in 2016. There's still going to be an America after Barack Obama, by the way. There's going to be a lot of mess to clean up. A lot of dreams to be restored. An entire economy to be reinvigorated. But we can't wait till 2016 to start the work. We've got to start now. We've got to start in Virginia. We've got to start with Ken Cuccinelli. And I encourage you to do everything you can to make that happen. God bless you.